Today I'm joined with my colleague and good friend, Representative Ted Budd from the great state of North Carolina. Good to be with you today, Ted.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Gary.
I want to talk to you about an issue that's coming up with Biden's infrastructure bill and the Biden administration's push to unionize jobs in infrastructure. They're putting these mandates on private contractors. They're putting them on states. Basically trying to expand union membership, and they're doing it through what's called a project labor agreement. You've done a lot of work on that, so why don't you talk a little bit about what a project labor agreement is and why it's problematic?
A PLA, or a project labor agreement, forces union type labor. It makes sure they operate on union wage scales, union work rules. They have to hire through union halls. So it essentially, anybody that gets federal benefits, it forces them essentially to unionize, and I think that doesn't give taxpayers a good bang for the buck. It drives up the cost of doing business with the government, and I don't think it's good for our taxpayers. It's not good fiscally for our country.
Well, it's really an assault on the states that are right to work states.
Like North Carolina.
Yeah, like North Carolina, like Alabama. And you talked a little bit about how this increases the cost of projects. It reduces competitiveness in the marketplace, and I think you and I both agree that competition in any commercial activity, particularly infrastructure, is pretty important.
Absolutely. Well, the bill I have on this is the Fair and Open Competition Act. I mean, that's the one I'm part of, and a lot of other members supporting this because we want, fair and open competition. And unions tend to look. We love those who are hardworking folks that are part of the unions, but a lot of times the actual union itself disconnects them from the market forces. And you end up with big layoffs later. You don't have these small adjustments that the market needs to make. And plus, if there's not fair and open competition, it drives up the cost for labor. It raises prices through the roof. For instance, if you're building a school building or a bridge or a new road, that's cost more than it should. And you get less of a product for the taxpayer out there.
Well, I don't think either one of us are opposed to unions. I mean, to people being a member of a union if they want to be a member of a union. Yeah. But I don't think either one of us would support a federal mandate that says you can only have a federal contract with a union.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, look. So I see why in some industries that you would certainly want to be a part of a union, and they need to have the choice to be able to do so. But you shouldn't force governments to make sure that all of their hiring rules or the projects that are, infrastructure, for instance, what we're talking about here, that they're using unions. I just think that it's very irresponsible, and we need to push more towards free and open competition. That's the name of the act.
Listen, I really appreciate the work you're doing on this. This is we need to make sure that we have free and open competition for these contracts. We need real infrastructure spending, not a bill that spends $1.2 trillion, but just over $110 billion of that actually goes to roads and bridges. Yeah. So this is good work, Ted. I hope if we can't get it done in this Congress, we can get it done in the next one.
Absolutely. Appreciate your help on this and all your policy research that you do.